Quavers to Quadratics is a programme for primary school children where they get to explore the overlaps between science and music. It runs here in the National Concert Hall in the centre of Dublin, and it's a partnership between the National Concert Hall, between Trinity College Dublin and UCD where I work.
Quavers to Quadratics grew out of a desire on my part, I suppose, originally when I started working at the National Concert Hall's Education, Community and Outreach programme to explore how music can link and be understood in connection with other disciplines and other areas of study.
And so lots of young children from primary schools come to the concert hall here and they meet my undergraduate students, and they can be students from science or they can be students from music, and they all play together. But they play to learn, and they learn about why musical instruments are made from the materials they're made from. They learn about why musical instruments are the shapes they are, and then the children get to build their own musical instruments. And as well as having the workshops here in the National Concert Hall, we also get the undergraduate students from Trinity and UCD to visit the children's schools. So there's a sort of a before component where they go to the schools, they talk about what's going to happen, then the children come here to the concert hall, we all work together, and then the students, the undergraduate students, go back to the schools. And this is all built around an idea in education called co-teaching. When the children come here to the National Concert Hall, there's lots of pieces of equipment and musical instruments that they get to play with. So from a musical point of view, we had professional musicians, we had harpists, we had an oboist, we had violinists, cellists, piano players, we had tons of musicians, and they were all showing their craft and the children got to play with them. From a scientific point of view, we had simple things like we looked at how a drum makes sound. We looked at how sound could be turned into an electronic signal, so you could see the human voice visually represented. We also had giant strings that mimicked what a guitar string would look like, and we showed the children how strings like that make noise. On your typical day here in the National Concert Hall, the boys and girls arrive and we begin the day by singing a song together, then break the children up into 3 groups, and they go off and they learn how sound is made, they learn how musical instruments work, and then they also build their own musical instruments. And then at the end of the day, they all come back together and we do the Galaxy song again, and this time they play along with the musical instruments that they've made. Children are very, very involved. They have lots of questions. They have questions about how the science of the whole thing works and about how the science applies to the music and vice versa. So the idea is that the child coming doesn't sort of think music and science are very separate, but they can see that these things have huge overlaps. So the most important part of Quavers to Quadratics is that we involve undergraduate students in teaching the programme. So they come from either Trinity College Dublin, from the Bachelor of Music Education degree run by Marita Kieran, who's also involved in this programme, and also the science degree. And they also come from University College Dublin as well, where I teach. And so they're central to the whole programme, because what they do is they do all of the teaching. They're the ones that the primary school kids get to know. They're the ones that visit the schools before and after the workshops, and they're the ones that build up a relationship with the teachers in the schools, and that's really, really important.
Idea of the sort of thing that might be interesting, but I don't know too much about science, though I do know a certain amount about music and music education. I knew Michael John Gorman, who was then the director of the Science Gallery, so a couple of days after I started here, I had a conversation with him and he suggested that I talk to Shane Bergen. So on Shane's recommendation, we put together a proposal to Science Foundation Ireland under their Discover programme call, and we were very lucky to receive funding for the project. And in addition, we also received some funding from Dublin Port Company, which is a company that we have close ties with here in the Concert Hall, and they generously subsidise the attendance of students from DESH schools in the local area and beyond.
We didn't want Quavers to Quadratics to just be a good day out. We wanted Quavers to Quadratics to be educational. So that means building up relationships, building up trust between the undergraduates and between the primary school kids and their teachers, and for them to really get to ask deep and meaningful questions and to do experiments and to play musical instruments with that whole group of people. And that's really, really important.